He needs to be strong to shear that sheet. He'll sell the wool he gets from it to an artisan, or his wife might spin it and weave it to make clothes for the family.
Before it's spun, the fleece needs to be prepared as well as possible. Any knots should be removed, as should any dirt or other impurities. This could be done by brushing the fleece with thistles, for example, although there's no firm evidence that this method was used. Otherwise, it could simply be done by hand, and after a good airing, the fleece is ready to be spun. Spindles were already in use in Gallo-Roman times. They were very basically wooden rods with a terracotta spindle whorl at the base. It was this which weighted the spindle and gave it the momentum to spin round. So the spindle went round by itself, and with the other hand the fleece was stretched out just enough to get the required thickness of thread. Most of the skill lay in the way the fleece was stretched during the spinning. A wild plant called yellowweed was used to dye the thread. It grew naturally and gave the thread a good lasting colour. It lasted through washing and didn't fade. The principle behind heat dyeing is a simple one. You take the plant you want, cut it up finely, and put it in water to boil. The wool or linen you want to dye is then plunged into the water, brought back to the boil, and then boiled for about an hour at 100 degrees.
Que la laine ou le lin que l'on veut teindre sera plongé et porté à ébullition ensuite, environ 1 heure, à peu près à 100 degrés.
Oh, I recognise those yellow weed flowers they used to use for bright yellow dyes. Then they'd use green weed flowers to get ochre and woad for blue. How awful the woad used to smell when my mother used to leave it to ferment. Then there was the madder root. And the elderberries we had to gather for the dyes. They made our fingers all purple for 4 days after.
This type of upright weighted weaving loom, this one here is a one-beamed version, came into use in these parts at the end of the Neolithic period, 2,500 years BC, and was still used in the Iron Age, alongside another sort of weaving loom, but a four-beamed version. These one-beam looms, in use in the Iron Age, and also during the Gallo-Roman period, were used for plain tabby weave, the simplest type of weave. You can see here how different coloured yarns are being used for the warp and the weft, and the result is a sort of tartan. In fact, Greek and Latin writers such as Pliny used to say that the Gauls invented checked fabrics.
Alors, ce type de métier à tisser est un métier vertical.
Here's an example of a vertical four-beam weighted loom. These started to come into use at the beginning of the Iron Age, 500 years BC, and made it possible to weave serge, herringbone, and diamond-shaped patterns. This type of loom was still in use in Gallo-Roman times, even during the Merovingian period.
Look at that, it's just like the sort of tunic I used to wear all the time, as everyone did in fact. That one looks like a nice one, I'm sure it's woolen. This area was well known for its textiles and garments. We used to send huge consignments off to Rome. I wonder if it's still like that these days.